Hello YouTube, HeavensAngel here, and we are playing Rimworld. So we're gonna start a new colony. Rimworld came out earlier in 2016, and before it was on Steam, you would have to go to the creator's website and buy it from him. And I've played this for countless hours before it even came out on Steam, and I can tell you one thing, I was very glad to see that a game that truly deserved it made it onto the Steam marketplace and is now getting the recognition that it deserves. When you choose to start a new game, you can have your standard crash landed beginning set. You can be a rich explorer, so you start solo. They call you crazy. You've got basically everything you could want, or you could be a lost tribe, and so your tribe was destroyed by the Great Blood Machine sent by the gods. 5 of you managed to escape. Now it's time to build up a new home. So you start with 5 people, but you're really far behind in technology. So this makes it more difficult, but you start with gun turrets for research, which is an added defense. The resources are a little bit different. The only problem is when I've experimented before. This isn't the first time, like I said. The charge rifle didn't work for some reason. Could be because I had a certain attribute to my character. But what we're going to do is we're going to try this again with the Rich Explorer. You get to choose your storyteller right here. This is Cassandra Classic. She creates story events on a steadily increasing curve of challenge and tension. If we wanted Phoebe Chillax, she's very much like Cassandra Classic, but she gives more time in between. And then there's Randy Random. He's got a frowny face I just noticed on his jacket, but he'll start you with one guy, and then when you have your next disaster, he may send 15 guys, and you would get obliterated, but it's random. So that's the challenge when playing with him. I think in this case, we're going to stick with Cassandra Classic. Base Builder, it's just really easy. So we're going to do some challenge. The cool thing is you can do a seed. So if you've picked a world that you know you like the seed, you can choose this. You can type it in, whatever you want. So we can randomize it, whatever. Choose your size for it. Randomize it. A stalk of celery, I think that's a pretty funny world to create. So let's see what that world looks like. Okay, this doesn't at all look like a stalk of celery to me. But it looks like one heck of a world. So there's individual biomes. There's up here, the light blue is tundra. The darker blue is boreal forest. This is the darkest blue is ocean. Then you've got lighter the brown, which is the desert. The lighter green, which is the temperate forest. The darker green, which is your tropical rainforest. And I'm sorry I missed that. The lightest blue, way up top, the ice sheet. So each section has its own individuality. If you zoom in a little bit closer, you can see how there's different icons here. The one with the 3 mountains is for... so they all define the terrain. Mountainous terrain... large hills, there's flat, there's also a small hills, small hills right there. And so you can really choose what type of a map you want to play in. And then they show you the longitude and latitude, the elevation above water level, the average temperature in the winter and the summer, how much rainfall they have. Now that is a really important thing, to note how much rainfall there is, because some of the disasters tend to be a dry lightning storm, and that can be really problematic in the sense that having a dry lightning storm, when it hits the ground, it starts a fire, and that will expand and grow. And if you're in a an area of the map where there's very little rainfall, that fire will rampage and it'll be very difficult to stop it. So that's always one thing you want to keep in mind. The stone types, if you like building with a certain type of stone, like marble, slate, granite, sandstone, you can choose that as well. So it gives you even more choice. And lastly, the growing period. If you want to have a challenge where you grow in a certain time of the year, you can do that. I've even done it where there's no growing period ever. And that really posed a challenge because you have to quickly understand how to hunt for food and keep a supply going. And then you would build you would research, a specific item that would allow you to build and grow crops regardless of the weather outside, and it would even grow them at a faster rate. But for now, we're gonna stick with a bit of a challenge. Oh, they also have right here factions. So Cutlass lineup, they're a pirate band, and if you look farther around, you should be able to see other groups as well. Let's see here. Do we have any friendlies here? I'm not seeing any, but I'm sure they're around there somewhere. So we're going to stick down here where it's nice and roomy and earthy. And we're going to have 1st of spring to 1st of fall, 6th of spring to 6th of fall. So it changes just a little bit every time, which in my opinion is very nice that it allows you to have that opportunity. Granite and slate year round. Average temperature is 65. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. So that's really nice. I like that. So we're going to stick with that. We're going to select that site. Then we get one person here because we chose the single traveler. And what I found a mod that allows you to prepare carefully. And so I have a preset, a billionaire starter. But so you can save presets. So for example, here I have this gentleman right here. He's got everything set up, but we're not going to use this. We're just going to randomize until we find somebody that we like. So it's really neat with the things that they're incapable of and all that. So this too smart, very neurotic, pessimist, incapable of nothing, adventuring child, and a hired assassin. So this is a very strong interesting thing. He's got a really high, a plus 26% mental break threshold, so he needs to be able to go for joy very often. Otherwise he'll break, and that's very bad. But he also gets the global learning factor plus 80% and the global work speed plus 40%. So that is really helpful. He can do everything. He's got a good balance, maybe not in growing and mining, but construction important, cooking important, fighting very important, social, artistic, crafting, research, fishing. So this is all really important. So I like Axie Hurdle. And we're gonna create our world now. So it's generating the map. Alright, so the neurostimulations, hollow games, and free orgies were never enough for you. You wanted more. The grit and consequence of real life, like they talk about in the history books. You wanted to know what real challenge and consequence feel like. Now, after a journey of decades in crypto sleep, you're landing on this unknown Rimworld. Real consequences await you. So here we are. Bloop! We land right next to a snake. Now, as you can see, there's stuff scattered all around here. If we zoom out, you can double click and tell your character to pick up these items. I'm going to tell him to equip that. But as we zoom out, you can see that there really isn't a great deal of things to protect me. I know for a fact that this right here is housing aliens, and we don't want to break that. So we're not going to break that. But these are two great buildings. This is also great. So there's a lot of locations where I could make a base. And that's very helpful to have a starter area. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build doors here, and I'm going to have in one of them a I'm not quite sure what I want to do. It's a very tough choice that I have to make. But I think I'll have that there. I'll have some dining chairs right there and there. And then I'll have, we've got 4 here. So what I'll do is I'll place some things here. I know he's very neurotic, so he needs to have joy in his day. We'll put a horseshoe pin right there. Aliens, remember that. Bad juju, we don't like aliens. So, we need power. We need to start a plan for some power. Now, you can walk over solar panels with your characters. It just makes it very difficult for you to, it slows you down a great deal, and that's not ever good. This is iron right here. We like iron. We need iron to build a lot of our technologies. This is silver. That's very good in trading. We like trading. So we're just going to set some of these to mine. So like we said, we need a lot of trying to figure out what I can do right here. Could probably mine this area out. Keep you, build you here. I would definitely have to mine out this area then, now that I think about it. But this is definitely a very nice region to have chosen. So I would definitely say that that's good enough right there. We like power, so what we're going to do is we're going to put power within this building. Having a battery might help to keep power stored, but we want a separate room for that because eventually we're going to be using a great deal of power. We also know that we need a bed for our character. So the question becomes, where do we want to sleep? Right here, in the middle. Where do we want to sleep? I'd say right there. Put that there and that right there in the corner. Now the nice thing about electrical circuits is that you don't have to have things that require power directly next to the circuits. They have a range. So because we started alone, we do have security. So we're going to put some of those right around here, surrounding us. Because we like being safe, and that is very important to all of us. Now comes the question of food. We need food to eat. And one thing I learned that was really cool when I started playing was that sun lamps have a great region where you can grow. You can set a growing region. So this lamp lights the entire area that you see there, and you can then grow crops there. So it's like crop fields. So this is a great part of the game that really I think people need to take advantage of. So the question comes, where do I want to build all of this? Do I want to build it here? If I build it there, I need to put a wall right there, and I have the solar panels there. Do I want to build it here, in which case it spreads me out into an area I might not be able to defend so well? It's all up in the air, in my opinion, and that's the challenge. So we're going to choose right there. We're going to remove that. And we're just going to speed the game up here while our character starts building. Ancient danger. Yep. Yep. New colony optimism 5. So this gives us an idea of our character. Any social interactions that our player or our person may have will show up here. Gear. So what they're using right now, our character's skills ourselves when we set them up. If we have new people that join, we can also see that. Their needs, so their food, their rest, their joy, the beauty of the room that they're in, their comfort, and the space, how they like it, and then their overall mood, and this gives more of a layout of it. If anything happens to them, we can see how their body's doing, and if they have any permanent injuries or current injuries from, let's say, a battle. If they need an operation for a new limb, you can make peg legs and things of that sort, which really I think makes it cool because say your character has one leg and they can't move, you give them a peg leg and ta-da, they can move now. So that's a really cool part to the game. So, orders. I need you to chop all the wood in this region. All the wood in this region. Right now we can set the owner to hurdle. He's stargazing. Good for you. Now here's a cool thing. So right now we have all automatic priorities, which means Hurdle will do everything because he's all alone. If we were to switch to manual priorities, everything here kicks to 4, and we can then do a 1 through 4 priority listing. So if we wanted Hurdle to emphasize on firefighting, being a patient, a doctor, getting bed rest, constructing, and repairing, then we could set that to 1, and anything higher above that, let me just show you what it would look like, would then take precedence. So the lower numbers take precedence. Restricting, so you see the hours of the day. You can tell Hurdle to do anything from 6 to 9. Work from anytime, joy, and sleep. So you can really control what they do by the hour. You can do the same thing with animals. You can restrict them to certain regions. Factions. So you see all the factions, which is really cool, and who they're enemies with. That pirate band just happened to be enemies with everyone. Not really smart, but that's pirates for you. So Hurdle is getting steel right now to make the lamp. We should know that we will want lots of wood for the base that we're making currently. And I always like to add a door so that I can connect two different growing areas. So create a growing zone. Ta-da, we have a growing zone. What do we want to build there? Yields lots of food. You know, let's do corn. Because we do have food, enough food to last us the nights that it'll take for the corn to grow. So that's what I'm really waiting for now. I'm gonna build a storage area right about here because I know we will need that. A little cooking area. So let me add I'll put a door right here. We'll do a butcher's table right there. And a electric stove right there. And then we'll make this zone of a storage for meals, for food. And everything else, we will say you cannot go there. We don't want rotten stuff in there. We don't want corpses in there. So that's where our meals are going to go. And what we'll do is we'll add a cooler to this room so that we can make sure that it stays nice and cool. It doesn't overheat because if you can keep the food cooler, just like with your regular fridge, it lasts longer. And that's what we want, right? So the cool thing about the horseshoe pin, the simple ancient game played with a few horseshoes and a large pin in the ground from a distance in an attempt to get them to land close. It's relaxing and it trains hand-eye coordination. So the cool thing about this is that every time that he throws a pin, he gets 1 point of experience into shooting. So that's a really cool way to not only increase the joy of your survivors, but to get their shooting skill up. And that's definitely helpful if they have a ranged gun. Okay, so we're still planting. We're still planting our corn. This is going to be a little bit. And as you can see, there's a little lightning bolt right here and a line through it. That's because I've turned the power off. The reason why I turned the power off for this lamp is because if it ever rains before I create this outer ring to connect the walls to an already built wall, or I surround an area with walls, I can't build a roof. If it rains on this sun lamp when there's power to it, it'll short circuit and explode, and that's a waste of materials. So we have no medicine in storage, which is a lie because we have 40 medicine right there. It's just we don't have it in storage. So now let's see here. If I build a sun lamp up here, I can build another one right here. And I think that I will use, eventually I'll alter this to storage for food, or raw resources I should say, and then they'll convert it to food. And that's what I'll do. Okay. So as you can see, we don't have any of this yet, but we do have the plans for it. Now if we ever get enough steel, it would be great if a person joined my colony. because then everything would go twice as fast. Well, maybe not everything, but... Okay, Hurdle, you're taking a real long time to do this work. Okay, well. So like we were talking about earlier, every shot that he takes, it increases the shooting skill by 1. I'm pretty certain. Yep, times 100%. So this is normal. If there's no flame, you learn it at 33% the speed. So he's really not good at growing anything, but it's still a good speed of learning. Mad animal. It's a tortoise. I'm getting attacked by a mad tortoise. It's got eggs. That's epic. He's now fine. We're all happy. We're good. And we're continuing. And there we go. We have now sown the entire area. This guy is still trying to mine everything. We're going to say stop. And... oh, that's not what I meant to do. But it's no big deal. It just... we'll build that back. The blueprints. And we see the time, the actual time. And the time in-game is nowhere to be seen. But that's fine. So it's a new day. This seems like a great point to stop this episode. Hope you liked it. Comment, subscribe, watch my other videos if you also want to see the other games that I play. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.